Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Don't forget to like this video and press the subscribe button if you want to updates on this missing persons case or any other case that we discuss on this channel. So what we're going to talk about in this video is a case that was brought to my attention by one of my members. And I think this is a very strange case of a missing person called Portia, this lady up here in the right-hand corner. Now, the reason that I was sort of surprised at this is I don't remember really reading much about this. This is a woman that's gone missing very mysteriously. She's been missing over a month now, and no clues whatsoever as to where this girl has disappeared to. And obviously her family are very worried. So I thought I would spotlight the case. Do you know anything about Portia and where she might be? Can you help this family find out what has happened to their loved one? Now, let's have a look where this case happened. Portia lived in London, or lives in London, I should say. I mean, there's no evidence to suggest that Portia is not still alive. But having said that, there is no evidence either. What the police call proof of life. As far as I know, there's been no credit card activity, etc. So this is a real mystery. Now, Portia was last seen in Hyde Park, which is in London. She lived in London. She lived in Finchley. So on this map, you can see this is where she was last seen, in Hyde Park in London. And she was supposedly making her way home to Finchley, which, as you can see, in a car would be 26 minutes. She wasn't in a car. She was probably going off to get the tube or maybe get a bus. But as far as we know, she wasn't seen at her home. She did not return to her home. And her last sighting was with friends at Hyde Park. Actually, I'm not sharing that, am I? I am. So let's have a look at the sort of the background, if you like, about it. Let's have a look at what the Daily Mail says about it. So there were articles when Portia first went missing. There were articles. It was in the papers, but it's not really had any further sort of traction. So, urgent hunt for missing woman 33 who was last seen at London's Hyde Park a month ago, as the family issue a desperate plea. And this article was published on the 27th of March. So a month before that, did she go missing? So did she go missing in February then? Anyway, we'll find out as we go along. Now, another reason why this is strange that there's not been, an awful lot of, I don't know, you tell me, leave me a comment. I don't remember seeing this, and I do follow missing persons cases. Now, Portia, she was not only obviously a young girl, an attractive girl, and that normally generates attention, doesn't it, in the mainstream media? And after that, the mainstream media highlights cases normally, and then social media, or vice versa. But Portia is what you would normally expect a young woman that would attract attention. The statistics show that normally sort of white, blonde women, their cases attract much more attention than men, for example, or women of ethnic minorities. So why has Portia's case not really attracted that much attention, I wonder? Also, Portia ran to be an MP. She ran to be a Green MP. She's quite, what's the word I'm looking for? So not exactly a celebrity, but she was well known. She was on the telly, at least in her local area, because she ran as the Green Party candidate for Hendon, North London in 2019. Well, her brother says, uh, she's not the sort, she didn't lead any sort of high risk lifestyle as far as they know. She's not a woman. It's not like her to just disappear. They weren't in touch sort of like daily. But it's not something that she's ever done before, just sort of disappeared or ran off or, any of those things. So, an urgent hunt has been launched for a missing woman who was last seen at London's Hyde Park a month ago. Portia Vincent-Kirby, who once ran to be an MP, has dropped off the face of the earth. And we know that people don't drop off the face of the earth, do they? They're somewhere. Her family are issuing a plea to help her. The 33-year-old who lives in North Finchley, London, was last seen in Hyde Park in February. Yes, February. So her terrified family are urging her to contact them after it was revealed by the police her phone and bank cards have not been used in 3 weeks. And checks by officers investigating the case revealed that they were last used on March the 3rd. Police have also told the family that they have not seen anyone at her flat since she was reported missing on March the 13th. Although Porsha has been known to move to other countries, living in Italy, Belgium, Greece and France, her passport has not been used since she went missing. So where is she? Where is Porsha? I wonder where she is. Do you know anything? I mean, I know my chatters are from all over the world, but in the UK, all over the UK. This is London, last seen in Hyde Park. This woman lived in Finchley. She ran to be a Green MP. Maybe you know her through that. If that's your, what was the area? And did they say Hendon? Ran to be an MP in Hendon, I think they said. Yeah, Hendon in North London. Do you know Portia from that? Do you know anything about her and where she might be? And why is there not much attention on this case? Unlike other cases of young, sort of blonde white women, it's very strange that it's not attracted much attention. Anyway, her brother Max, 31, says that despite these red flags, the police have not been much help. He said the police have been pretty useless, to be honest, other than telling us about when her phone and bank card were last used. We haven't been told much about what happens next, but they did say just because they aren't in touch doesn't mean they're not doing anything. That's what they always say, isn't it? Now, we know the police, especially in London, I would imagine more than anywhere, are busy, always busy, lots of missing people. She's 33 years old. She's a grown woman. But really, when somebody just disappears like that, unless, I don't know if she had a history of depression or there's any reason to think that she may have done something to herself. But even so, she's not a high risk missing person. That's the other thing, isn't it? When the police, when somebody gets reported as missing, then the police determine if they're high risk or not, and how quickly they need, if they were on medication or, had a history of depression and there was cause to think that maybe they'd done something to themselves. But just it seems odd that there's nothing in the news about it, but she's just vanished. So her worried brother, who lives in Wigmore, Kent, added she's got a master's degree. She's an intelligent girl. She's not the kind of person who just vanishes. It's like she's dropped off the face of the earth. And he added she's very much her own person, but she has lots of friends. We reported her missing on March the 13th, after we realised none of her friends had seen her in weeks. The police were then able to look at her bank cards and phone. They can check when it was last used, and like using the ticks on WhatsApp to see if messages were delivered. They found out they hadn't been used for nearly 3 weeks since the start of March. Who doesn't need money for nearly 3 weeks? Even if you'd met someone, you'd go out and get a coffee or something. It just doesn't make sense. There you go, there's Portia. She hasn't been in her flat for a month. No, I mean, yes, she might have met someone, I suppose. And, be living with somebody else for a while. But she can't have left the country because her passport's not been used. But surely she would let somebody know where she was, her friends, her family, even just a message. Portia, who has had a number of careers, most recently worked as an administrator for an eco waste company. And before that, she worked at a law firm as a legal PA and in public relations, with her brother saying she had left her most recent role in February. So she just left her job by the sound of it. As far as he and the family are concerned or aware, she does not have a new job lined up, nor any travel plans. And Max said that Portia is single and has lived alone in the flat in North Finchley, London, for the past couple of years. And he said, I don't know the exact timings, but she's lived in that flat for the last couple of years. She has moved abroad and then come back to London, but in total, she's been in the city for 7 or 8 years. And he added, she will live anywhere. She's that kind of person. She's done every job under the sun. She's always changing the colour of her hair too. It could be blonde one day, brown the next. For all we know, it could be pink now. We just want her to call if she sees this. All she needs to do is call. We don't want her to be embarrassed to get in touch. So a Met Police spokesperson said police are appealing for help to find 33-year-old Portia, who is missing from Finchley. So apparently she quite often wore a baseball cap. And yeah, bear in mind that her hair could be any colour because she likes to change the colour of her hair. But I just think it's strange if her cards haven't been used at all. And a mobile, I presume. So, Portia Vincent-Kirby was last seen on Friday, February the 21st at around 8:45 p.m. So it will have been dark. That's important to remember. It will have been night time in Hyde Park. After leaving her friends, she's believed to have gone to Victoria Station. So was she planning on getting the metro home? What happened to her? What's happened to her in between? And I mean, that's quite late at night, isn't it? I hope she's safe. So she's known to have links with the Kent area. Portia is slim with blue eyes and shoulder-length dyed blonde hair. Her clothing when she went missing is unknown. However, she often wears a baseball cap. Officers remain in regular contact with the family to provide updates. So inquiries to find Portia remain ongoing. If you've seen Portia or have any information about her whereabouts, please call 101 and quote the reference 01 7262 03925. Now, as I'm sort of reading through this, I'm getting more and more concerned for Portia. Because and the other thing I'm thinking, what do they mean? They don't know what clothing she was wearing, because even if her friends who last saw her in Hyde Park can't remember, there'll be CCTV everywhere. This is London. How can she not have where is the CCTV footage? Or have they not even bothered flagging it up? Or don't they care where she is? Where is she? And why can't we see what she was wearing? How many other missing person cases have we seen? And they show the CCTV of when they were last seen. She was at bloody Victoria Station, apparently, where she was in London. She was in Hyde Park. There's got to be CCTV of her being in Hyde Park. This just feels really annoyingly sort of inadequate, doesn't it, by the police? So I'm going to look. She is on the missing persons website, Missing People. Portia Vincent-Kirby, age at disappearance 33, missing from Barnet, London, missing since the 25th of February. Goodness me. And you can download posters on here just to, oh, you've got to actually fill in your details. If you're in that area and you can help even by just downloading some posters maybe. Why have we not heard about this woman? Anyway, and on this missing persons website, it says, Portia, we are here for you whenever you're ready. We can listen, talk you through what help you need, pass a message for you and help you to be safe. Now, sorry, I'm getting emotional because there are a lot of people, obviously, on this missing persons website. You can't highlight every person. It's virtually impossible. But, you know, every now and again we will... we do look, don't we, at missing people. I mean, look here, straight away then you've got these guys. They probably don't get much attention. David Brunt in the northwest, Alexander Warren in the southeast, Aman Kandakar in the northwest. All these people that are missing. Kadima Dia in London. It's just endless, isn't it? Andy Fishlock in the East Midlands. Paul Parvin in Yorkshire and Humberside. Where are these people? It's just so very sad, isn't it? Anyway, we're concentrating in this video on Portia, but of course there are so many other missing people, you know. Let's just have a look. What's this? This is the Metro. This is probably similar to the Daily Mail article. The heartbroken brother of a woman who was last seen leaving Hyde Park more than a month ago has revealed it took 2 weeks for police to release any pictures of her. Where's the CCTV? So apparently the family noticed Portia was missing after her mum returned from a trip away. Well, you know, when people live far away from their family, it can take a long time before it's noticed. I mean, obviously, I mean, I live with my son, so he'd notice if I was missing. He'd notice when there was no food in the fridge. But no, I think if it wasn't for that, really, how would my family that are all in the UK, they wouldn't know. I could disappear for 2 weeks, 2 months even. You know, we're not in contact that often. We see each other on Facebook and things like that. And then we do exchange messages, but it's not like every day, you know. So, you know, and sometimes there are some sort of, I don't know, maybe at Christmas you exchange more messages than normal, but in just normal daily life, really, we're not constantly messaging each other, seeing what we're doing, you know. So Portia lived on her own and she wasn't estranged from her family, but she didn't live near her family. She spoke to them sporadically. She was her own person. And I'm talking about in the past tense, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that, but I just want to know, you know, this is what I'm saying. So her family, it probably did take them a little while to realise she was. Because look, the pair spoke frequently, but upon her return, text stopped delivering. This is her mother. And Max said, we all have our own lives and we don't speak to each other every day. Her mum spoke to her the most, but messages soon stopped going through. And none of us have been able to get in touch with her. So messages are not going through on her phone. So it sounds like her phone has run out of battery wherever it is. Portia lived alone in her flat in North Finchley, and her landlord confirmed they have not seen or heard from her. Her disappearance is completely out of character, as she was always doing something big we knew about. So it sounds like she did tell them then when they... So, of course, there's a lot to sort of unpack here. Why did she leave her job? It seems like she just left her job. Did she leave her job voluntarily, or was she dismissed? Was she depressed about that? You know, someone is reported missing every 90 seconds in the UK. That's 170,000 families every year have to report their loved one missing. Now, most people do turn up. Most people do turn up. You know, we have to remember that. But every now and again, they don't. Like Portia. Where is Portia? I mean, there's, you know, a limited amount of possibilities, aren't there? I mean, it may be that Portia just decided she wanted to disappear for a while. You know, things she had to sort out. But surely she wouldn't just leave her flat or whatever. There's always the possibility that she may have been depressed and people didn't know, and she may have done something to herself. And then, of course, there's that horrible possibility that she may have become a victim of foul play. I mean, she's an attractive young woman. She would be a target for a predator if there was a predator around on that evening. But strange, there's been no sighting of her, no. You just think sometimes, where do these people disappear to? Bless them, where do they disappear to? Anyway, so I'm going to light a candle for Portia and her family. No, because I think Portia is deceased. Lighting a candle is just, for me, it's just a signal. It's just a way of a thought, like a prayer, that somehow this family get the answers that they need as to where Portia is. And hopefully the answer will be the positive answer, that Portia is alive and well somewhere, and just for whatever reason decided to drop out of society. People do it. They do drop out of society. And if it wasn't for the fact that her passport hadn't been used, it would be a strong possibility, wouldn't it, for someone like Portia, who's travelled around Europe before, that she might have just decided to go off and do her own thing. But what is she living on? You know, if her cards haven't been used, you know, what would she be living on? She would have had to have booked a ticket, wouldn't she? And that kind of thing. But the other thing that surprises me, and I'd like to see the police pull a finger out a little bit, and I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know what contact they're having with the family, but you know, I hope the family are you know, because you do have to insist. There's so many people go missing. Sometimes I think that the police, they just respond when you keep bugging them, but if you don't ask them anything, they just sort of, not through badness, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying through badness, but I think they're just so overwhelmed with everyone, especially in London, I would imagine. All sorts of things going on, aren't they? So yeah, you know, I think if I was a family, what I'd be... Remember Jack O'Sullivan's mum went out and found the CCTV herself, didn't she? She had to do it herself, which she shouldn't have to do. But yeah, I'd be wanting to see the CCTV of Portia if she'd been in public in Hyde Park, or if she had gone to Victoria Station or anywhere. There's CCTV everywhere in London. You know, you can't blink without it being captured on CCTV. So there's got to be CCTV of Portia that might help in this case. So God bless, and I hope her family gets some answers soon, and I hope Portia is safe and well somewhere. And if you know anything, please contact the police. And, you know, someone somewhere knows something, about where Portia is. Maybe Portia herself. But somebody knows something. As we know, people don't disappear into thin air. Portia has not disappeared. She has not been beamed up to the Starship Enterprise. She is somewhere, and somebody knows where she is. And I hope that the family get these answers. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Bye.